The screen flipped on and the film began. It was a documentary of an exceptional human being who had achieved his ultimate perfection. He faced enormous challenges in his youth, but they made him stronger and pushed him to live a life of idealism, centered around learning and spreading Torah wisdom. He built an idealistic community designed to help everyone achieve their unique mission in this world. He married an amazing woman, raised a beautiful family, and devoted his entire life to connecting with Hashem and contributing to the lives of others. He wrote books, finished projects, built up organizations, and changed the world. Wow, he thought to himself, who is this? It's you, came a whisper from inside his head. At least it's who you can be. Now is your chance to build it yourself. And just then, there was a loud shriek. The doctor raised his head and smiled. It's a boy. Have you ever felt like everything worthwhile in life eventually fades? The energy of youth fades into old age. The excitement of beginnings fades into routine. The inspiration of a new goal fades into habit. This pattern extends to almost all spheres of the human experience. When you begin a meal, the taste is fresh and delicious. But after only a few bites, the taste begins to wear off and the food loses its mouth-watering appeal. Did you ever hear a great song, immediately fall in love with it, and play it endlessly on repeat? And after only a few days, you probably couldn't listen to it anymore. And this once captivating song somehow lost its beauty and appeal, and you were forced to move on to the next song. And this numbing experience is not always negative, though, because whenever you hear a loud or disturbing sound, you may initially be annoyed or irritated. However, after a few minutes, your senses become dulled and your mind muffles out the sound. The stimulus is still there, but the sensation has faded. And this phenomenon permeates all of human experience, leading us to question why Hashem created the world this way. Why did Hashem create a world in which inspiration, physical sensation, and emotional delight always fade? What's the deep spiritual idea behind this pattern? Before answering our question, let's take a further look at this phenomenon and how it plays out through the events in the Torah. In Parshas Mishpatim, Klal Yisrael experiences the after effects of Yetzias Mitzrayim and Matan Torah. So let's take a closer look at the events that lead up to this moment. The first day of Pesach was the pinnacle of the Yetzias Mitzrayim experience. After revealing himself to the world through the 10 Makos, Hashem himself performed Makas Bechoros, the plague of the firstborn, striking down the firstborns of Yetzias Mitzrayim. At this time, the Jews underwent the process of their formation as Hashem's chosen nation, performing the mitzvahs of Karban Pesach and Bris Milah, and the Baalei Machshava described this night as the absolute peak of holiness and spirituality for the Jewish people. It's therefore astonishing that immediately following this elevated experience, the Jews descend into the Midbar, the desert, and fall into total disarray. The Midbar is a place of spiritual emptiness, and the next 49 days are defined by hardship, complaints, and spiritual challenge. And then upon completing these 49 days, the Jews once again experience spiritual transcendence. The Jews are given the Torah at Har Sinai, cementing their marriage relationship with Hashem and committing themselves to a destiny of greatness. But there's an obvious question on the sequence of events. Why didn't the Jews go straight from Mitzrayim to Matan Torah, from one high to the next? Why did they have to first go through such a bitter low, losing everything they had gained on the first night of Pesach? Well, the deep meaning behind this process is elucidated by the Arizal, Ramchal, Vilna Gaon, and many other Jewish thinkers. They explain that every process contains 3 stages. The first stage is the high, the inspiration, an experience of perfection and clarity. Next comes the second stage, which is a complete fall, a loss of everything that was experienced during the first stage. And then there's the third stage, a return to the perfection of the first stage. However, this third stage is fundamentally different from the first. It's the same perfection, the same clarity, but this time it's a perfection and clarity that you've earned. The first time it was given to you, now you've worked to build it yourself. The first stage is a gift, a spiritual high. It's there to help you experience the goal, the destination. It's a taste of what you can and hopefully will ultimately accomplish, but it's not real. It's given as a gift and therefore is an illusion. It serves only as a guiding force. It cannot compare to the genuine accomplishment of building something yourself. It's therefore taken away to allow for the second and more important stage, which is building it yourself, undergoing the work required to attain this growth in actuality, to work for the perfection that you were shown. A gift isn't real. Something chosen and earned is. We're in this world to choose, to assert our free will, and to create ourselves. And now that we've tasted the first stage, we know what we're meant to choose, what we're meant to build. And the third stage is the recreation of the first stage. While it appears to be the same, it's fundamentally different. It's real, it's earned, it's yours. The first stage was a gift, an illusion. The third is the product born of the effort and time you've invested. And this three-stage pattern gives us a deeper insight into a Gemara that we've already discussed several times before. The Gemara explains that when you were just a fetus, you were in a perfect and transcendent state of being. A malach, an angel, taught you kol ha-Torah kula, all of Torah, and you experienced the entirety of reality through a crystal clear lens. However, the Gemara continues with an anticlimactic punch, quite literally, because just before you were born, this angel struck you on the mouth, causing you to forget everything you learned. And two obvious questions arise. Number one, why does the Malach cause you to forget everything you've just learned? But number two, and more importantly, if he'll eventually make you forget it, then why even teach it to you in the first place? So the Vilna Gaon answers these questions with the three-stage model we just developed. When the Gemara describes the fetus learning kol ha-Torah kula, it refers to the deepest realms of Torah, a transcendent Torah that lies far beyond this world. This Torah is the very root of reality, and you were granted complete understanding of its every detail. And not only were you shown this level of Torah, but you also learned your specific share of Torah. You were shown your unique purpose in the world, and how your unique role fits into the larger scheme of the human story as a whole. You were given a taste of your own perfection, of what you could, should, and hopefully will become. But most importantly, when the Malach struck you, you didn't lose this Torah, you just lost access to it. Instead of it disappearing, this knowledge and clarity became buried deep within your subconscious. And this is because what you received in the womb wasn't real, it was a gift, unearned and undeserved. The purpose of life is to come into this world and rebuild all that you once experienced and understood while in the womb. However, this time it's going to be real, because you have built it yourself. In essence, your job in this world is not to create yourself, but rather to recreate yourself, to re-attain your original state of perfection, as you were shown by the Malach. And this time, however, it has to be accomplished through free will, by choosing to become great. Only by overcoming challenge and difficulty, only by asserting your willpower, can you fulfill your true potential. In essence, our entire life is a story of teshuvah, of returning to our original higher and true self. And returning to our original discussion, we can now understand why the Jewish people couldn't go straight from Yetzias Mitzrayim to Matan Torah. The first night of Pesach was a spiritual high, a revelation of their ultimate destination, but it was a gift, unearned. They therefore had to go through the challenges of the Midbar in order to rebuild and earn that initial stage. Matan Torah was the third stage. It was the recreation of the first stage, but this time it was earned. It was real. And only then was Klal Yisrael truly able to experience the depth and beauty of their connection and marriage with Hashem. And this is the process of life. Inspiration followed by hardship and difficulty, often to the point that you can hardly remember that initial stage of excitement. The Rambam compares this experience to a man lost in the darkness of night, in the midst of a thunderstorm, and unable to see his hand in front of his face. He has no idea where to go. And suddenly there's a flash of lightning, and he sees the path home clear as day. But a second later the lightning fades, and he's left only with the memory of clarity to guide him back home. The lightning represents flashes of inspiration in a challenging and confusing world, and the darkened path represents the difficult journey we have to take in order to recreate that initial stage of inspiration. We have to hold on to those flashes of lightning, understand our goal and destination, and then recreate that light within the darkness. Because one day, you'll once again experience the clarity of that light. Except this time, it's going to be real, earned, never again fading away.